Hello best learners, it's Mustafa here at Learn with the Best, and today we're going to be talking about the 29th law of power, planning all the way to the end. And as usual, first I'm going to define the law for you, then we'll discuss how we can plan for our future, and then I want to go over a short story from the book that perfectly and simply embodies this law. And then finally, we'll finish up with how you can implement this law into your own life for attaining maximum power over yourself. That's right, this law has nothing to do with others, and it has everything to do with mastering yourself. Here's the law. The ending is everything, so plan all the way to it, taking into account all the possible consequences, obstacles, and twists of fortune that might reverse your hard work. By planning to the end, you will not be overwhelmed by circumstances, and you will know when to stop. Gently guide fortune and help determine the future by thinking far ahead. This law is extremely important for us to grasp. So important indeed that I would rank this law as one of the top 5 laws of power. Almost no one follows this law, so if you can understand and ingrain this law into your mind, you will be far ahead of the rest. The average sheep does not know what he wants out of his life. Most people are reactive to the events that inevitably come their way. What I want you to do is, I want you to be proactive. Right now you may be thinking, "Hey Mustafa, what the heck do you mean by proactive?" Well, what I mean is, plan your life out. Seize the day. Seize every single day. Have a plan and a routine from the moment when you open your eyes in the morning to when your head falls on the pillow at night. Ask yourself the question, what do I want out of my life? Here are the basics. Everyone needs money to survive. Every single one. If you have money, you can use it as a tool to buy yourself freedom from your 9-to-5 job and use it to buy your time back. And if you have more time, then you can focus on the things that you have deemed to be the most important things in your life. So now you have to ask yourself, do I want a 9-to-5 job? And if your answer is yes, then great. I'm happy for you, man. I really am. If you're happy being a doctor or a technician or working as a server at Applebee's or working in customs brokerage like me or whatever it is that you do, and if you're happy with it, then great. Continue doing that. But if you're like the majority of people out there, then you're not happy with your 9-to-5. And if that's the case, then you have to start thinking about investing in yourself so you can learn how to make a living without being tied down to a job that you hate. One way to do this is to invest and let your money work for you instead of you working for your money. Live off of the gains that you make every year. If you put in $500,000 into the stock market, then at an average rate of return of about 8%, you should be making about $40,000 a year passively. Now you may be thinking, "Hey Mustafa, I don't have $500,000 laying around here to invest in the stock market." And I would respond, yes, exactly. You don't have that kind of money laying around. And that's exactly the point of this law. If you want to be completely free, then you need to have a number in your mind that you have to reach in order to achieve financial freedom. And you can reach that number through many different ways. You can keep your 9-to-5 job and invest all of your spare income into your freedom account. You can get a second or a third job and throw all that extra money into your freedom account. Or my favorite idea, invest in yourself and start a side hustle. Learn how YouTube works and start posting videos. Learn how to sell on Amazon. Learn Facebook marketing. There are literally thousands of ways that you can make money online. All you need to do is have the patience and take the time to invest in yourself. Okay, now let's look at a story from the book that Robert Greene lays out for us from the past. But before we do that, I need your help with YouTube's algorithm. Please smash that thumbs up button below, because if you don't, then YouTube is simply not going to show this video to anyone else. Please also subscribe and click on that bell icon, because if you don't, then again YouTube won't let you know when a new video is uploaded. And if you're interested in all of the things I've spoken about in this video so far, I do have a course pinned in the top comment below. I will give you the tools that you need to transform yourself from a lamb to a lion, but you have to actually step up and put in the work on yourself. This course is not for everyone because the majority of the population are sheep, make no mistake. But for those very few of us who want to walk the path of a lion, This is the course for you. So let's look at a short story from the book called The King, the ABDAL, and the Surgeon. In ancient times, the king of Tartary was out walking with some of his noblemen. At the roadside was an ABDAL, and an ABDAL is kind of like a gypsy, like a wandering sort of nomad. And this person cried out, "Whoever will give me 100 dinars, I will give him some good advice." The king stopped and said, "ABDAL, what is this good advice for 100 dinars?" "Sir," answered the ABDAL, "order the sum to be given to me, and I will tell you immediately." The king did so, expecting to hear something extraordinary. And the man said to him, "My advice is this: never begin anything until you have reflected what will be the end of it." At this, the nobles and everyone else present laughed, saying that the ABDAL had been wise to ask for his money in advance. But the king said, "You all have no reason to laugh at the good advice this ABDAL has given me. No one is unaware of the fact that we should think well before doing anything. But we are daily guilty of not remembering, and the consequences are evil. I very much value the dervish's advice." The king decided to bear the advice always in his mind, and commanded it to be written in gold on the walls and even to be ingrained on his silver plate. Not long afterward, a plotter desired to kill the king. He bribed the royal surgeon with a promise of position of prime ministership if he thrust a poisoned lancet into the king's arm. When the time came to get some of the king's blood, a silver basin was placed to catch the blood, and suddenly the surgeon became aware of the words engraved upon it. "Never begin anything until you have reflected what will be the end of it." It was only then that he realized that if the plotter became the king, he could have the surgeon killed instantly and would not need to fulfill his bargain. The king, seeing the surgeon was now trembling, asked him what was wrong, and so he confessed the truth at that very moment. The plotter was seized, and the king sent for all the people who had been present when the ABDAL gave his advice, and he said to them, "Do you still laugh at that dervish?" This passage perfectly summarizes the entire law into a short, sweet story. The surgeon was just an average everyday person. He had no plan, and so he went along with this insane idea to kill the king so he could get a promotion under the new king, but he did not think it all the way through. And upon seeing the engraved words on the silver basin, "Never begin anything until you have reflected what will be the end of it," he froze in his tracks. So let that be a lesson to us all. There are very few men who are able to think and feel beyond the present moment. Whew, man oh man, that is deep. Why is it, do you think, that most people are so preoccupied with the present moment? You know, for example, you're out, you're driving, you pass by McDonald's, and you gotta get me some McDonald's. Oh, is it bad for my health? Do I already have high cholesterol and what looks like triplets in my man belly? Oh yeah, I do, but it's okay. I'll start working out, I'll start exercising, I'll start eating healthier, but I'll do it all in the new year. Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll be a superstar tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not trying to be harsh. What I'm trying to do is to instill in you the extreme importance of this law. I think it's good to live in the present. It's certainly much better to live in the present than it is to live in the past. But what is it that keeps us from looking into our future? Is it fear? Or is it laziness? Or is it something deeper? Well, I do have an answer for you, and here is the cold hard truth. The human mind has evolved over many tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. And if you lay all of that time out over a straight line, only at the very end of that line, the very, very tip, is where we are now in civilization. Only over the last several hundred years have humans been able to create the civilization that we currently enjoy. Our subconscious brain tries to protect us for only our present. The subconscious brain will not look into the future. The subconscious only sees the McDonald's and it wants it right now. So here's the two-part solution. What you have to do is first, be aware of this fact. It's simple, just be aware. And second, Constantly be thinking and planning for your future by using the part of your brain that is conscious. If you keep this up, it will slowly embed in your subconscious that yes, there is a future, a long future, and we have to prepare and plan right now for that next 30, 40, 50 years ahead of us. So let me ask you this, dear viewer. What is it that has imprisoned you in the present moment? What's keeping you from planning your life with godlike foresight? What's keeping you from being able to ignore your immediate pleasures in exchange for a better future? Most people think, yes, when I'm a little older, I'll work out and I'll have that amazing body and I'll travel all over the world and live my dreams. But they are deluded by this imaginary hallucination in their minds. What it is simply a vision of what your life could be. But in order to achieve it, you have to plan. And when you plan for it, plan all the way to the end. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you learned something new. Please support me by simply subscribing, smashing the thumbs up button below, and checking out my course pinned in the top comment below. Make sure that bell icon is lit up so YouTube can let you know exactly when a new video is posted. And remember, you only retain about 10% of what you learned the first time around. So watch this video through a few times and then come back to it again and again in order to really understand and ingrain all of the material. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.